Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the UA Podcast. I'm your host, John Jennings. With me today, we have my co-host, Mr. Matt Childress and Chris Smith. Boys, how we doing? I guess we're all doing this. We're all doing this for some reason. I don't know.
We're back again.
I was going to say, when was Raising the Roof? Was that the 90s? I can't even remember now.
I don't know. It's the now. It's the now. 2022.
Time is a flat circle.
Time.
It is
totally. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Heard it here first, kids. Heard it here first. Nah, it's an exciting time right now. We had the whole RLE season kind of come to a close, and it's just been really eerily quiet out in the Western Front, and people were just slamming decks together to find out what they want to play this weekend.
Yeah, we had that set 3 drop, and no one knows what's good yet.
Yeah,
you want to know what's good? Data. Everything is good at this present time. You just throw shit at a wall and see if it sticks.
It's Schrodinger's deck, right? Yes. Everything is good until it's been played.
Right, yeah, exactly. And that's the problem, man. I have made so many lists over the past month that you guys know this because I'm just like, look at this one, tell me it's bad. Please look at this, tell me it's bad.
Exactly.
And even when I've played stuff, I'm like, nothing feels snap broken. Doesn't mean there's not some stuff that feels stronger than other things, but that's the good news is nothing feels snap broken yet. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be some clear front runners.
Something waiting in the weeds for Nats, and we all just get steamrolled by it. And someone from, I don't know.
I was going to say, the Master of Asia Railgun Asui version deck is coming for set 3 somewhere, right? That was the deck that was winning around.
It's Twisting Azure Inferno deck that no one's thought of yet.
Yeah, what's kind of funny is I've heard on the YouTubes and the Discords that there's a second coming of that deck, dude. It's going to be raining instead of growing this time, so it's all about the water Asui this time.
All right. We will see.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to hit some Nats talk, but first, Matt has a little announcement to make.
Yeah. So just today, guys, we went and we launched a brand new feature on the site. We now have an entire section of our site, universalacademy.org, dedicated to tracking chrome rares and the data around these things. Because as we know, everybody is after these chrome rares. Yeah, Chris?
Did Matt just date the podcast before John did?
I didn't say what today was.
No. Because you made a post on the Facebook and in the Discord earlier today. So if they connect the dots.
Yeah, they got to go to the internet to find it and see our sweet new Chrome Rare tracking page.
They got to
bring it back around to where we started.
Charlie Day, Pepe Sylvia. Yeah, it's just,
Carol. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're going and we have on there all the data for all the primers that have been reported so far, whether it be on Discord or Facebook or in any of the groups that we can find. And I know there's more out there, right? We have not accounted for all of them, but if you have one or if you open one, go to our site. We have a Google form. It's a quick 3 questions, just giving us that data so that we can add it to the list, so that we can share everyone's with it. If you have a link to where you posted it online, share that with us. We'll make sure to link that as well so other people can come see your awesomeness. Even further, if you're looking to sell it, we might be able to get you some people directly to you.
Yeah,
want to sell
it. That's the number one thing. Right there.
Yeah.
Did you know only one ETA has been publicly shown so far?
Ooh. Only one ETA and 2 Shotos.
2 Shoto? Oh yeah, because River had one, and then there was another one that was pulled.
I do feel like I've seen the most Midoriya 2s pop up.
So I can break the numbers down for you, but Midoriya, Kirishima, and Bakugo have definitely all been pulled more than the others.
Okay.
I want to say all those last. Do what?
They're short printed.
Yeah, there's 100. There's really only 50. Who knew? That's so weird. Yeah. But yeah, the site, you can look at it per character. You can look at it as an overall collective of data. This is just something that we wanted to kind of spearhead because again, if you go to the Discord, there was kind of a running list, but there wasn't just one easy location to kind of go. And that's our goal with universalacademy.org anyway. It's kind of be your one-stop shop for any information about the game. So definitely check that page out. As they were talking about just a minute ago, I've already posted it to our socials, posted it in the Discord as well, the official MHA one. So definitely check that out. And we'll have a link down in the bio afterwards so you can directly go there. And definitely community, help us out with this. We want to make sure that we have it all tracked and all taken care of. So we appreciate any help that you can give us, whether that's you've pulled one or a buddy at your store pulled one. Be like, hey, man, go check this out. Send them the link real quick. You can do it on mobile. You can do it from anywhere. It's all very user-friendly. So thank you so much, and we appreciate your assistance.
Yes, do our work for us.
Okay. Yeah, do that. Quick piggyback off of that. But if you're looking to get into the game right now, thanks to Chrome Rares, it is the cheapest possible time ever. Please play the game. It's super cheap, super good, super fun.
Not exaggerating. The secret rares right now are both less than $10.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Man.
Heroic Clash is $8, and Aggressive Clash, that super cool alternate art that you're going to get for doing well at Nats this weekend, is $7. So,
man, I sure do wish some set 1 secret rares were under $10. Maybe then I could have a set.
Man, sorry, kiddo, ain't gonna happen.
No,
I'm really surprised actually we didn't get set 1 SRs for Nats, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
that would have been dope.
But yeah, so there is been kind of like this, not weird, but like big gap between like the last real end of set 2 events, and then obviously Nats is the first set 3 event. There's been a bunch of like store provisionals kind of along the way with the set 3 stuff.
We had a win a case, so that was really like, I guess not want to say the biggest event, but it did have the highest stakes, I think, at the present time so far. So, and we did have
a couple of those floating around.
Yeah,
and then like we had, JJ, Travis, Nate DeWalt came out from Omaha. We had Ben Lambright. Some people. River was there. People. I played. I didn't do so well, but I played. And we had some. We had all skill levels, really, really great people, some newer people. So it was like, I know it wasn't like a regionals type thing, but there was like an atmosphere.
I mean, some notable names there. Yeah.
It's a competitive scene, for sure.
So,
we had a very good competitive scene. So we kind of used that as like a Nats, not like a meta tester, because Travis was playing some Mineta 2 death deck that played the Robert Kick Bakugo attack, and it was really sick. But yeah, it was like there's some weird stuff, but there was also we had 2 K2s in finals. So
I was gonna ask, Chris, as the kids would say, spill the tea. What won?
Well, technically they split, but it was JJ and Ben both playing K2.
Kirishima 2 won because there's no way he wasn't winning that game.
Yeah, Kirishima 2 won.
Off of Earth, right?
I assume, both off of Earth.
Yeah, both off Earth, yeah.
Okay.
There was a Tokiyami off of Chaos, and then one of my locals who's only been playing for a month or month and a half played Mineta 2 off of Water, and he got top 4. So
nice.
That was really cool, yeah.
Very cool.
So congratulations to George. He did really well. He went down to 1 foundation against Travis, and he just checked running 5s and just played 3 5-diff attacks and just killed
Check 5s, take lives,
so,
what I'm saying? Check 5s, take lives.
On the topic of Mineta 2s doing wild shit like that, at our store provisional, the finals was me playing Earth Death Arms versus Kevin on Mineta 2. And game 1, like turn 2, he has like 3 foundations. I got a Proud Scion in play, and so I tapped his entire board, and he's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna play 2 or 3 attacks and see what happens. And he's like, check a 5, check a 5, check a 5. I was like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Yep. I guess Mineta, it just runs in Mineta 2s, right? They just built different. Built different, man.
Their grapes are humongous. They got humongous grapes on those guys.
Biggest grapes I've ever seen.
Biggest grapes you've ever seen. Full of juice.
This took a very disturbing turn.
Yeah, so I just want to go ahead and call it down. We're going into Nats, and I'm just going to tell you guys, Earth's the best symbol in the game.
I would say Seizing is the best symbol in the game, but it's the same thing as Earth on it. So,
I would disagree because I don't think Seizing is good enough to make air.
No, it's not. No.
Make up.
I mean, you could get like this random All Might 3 air deck that can act. What's okay? So like, we know Earth and Fire have great packages, but all that air needs is like, hey man, I'm gonna draw free cards all day. What does All Might 3 do? Draw free cards all day.
He does draw cards.
So you could,
I mean, like that definitely helps. It does. Yeah, but
to be fair, air has nothing to protect itself against flippies. So, and I think that's what's going to kind of piggyback up on what Matt said, with Earth being one of the best symbols in the game. They flip your stuff. They have protection against flip, and they get to reuse their flips easier than everyone else. So thanks to Hardened Jab.
Not just Hardened Jab, also Hardened Barrage, unflip stuff.
You're correct, John. You were correct.
Yeah,
but no one has those cards because no one's Plus Ultra packs have been shipped out. No redemption orders have been shipped out unless you're picking them up at Nats.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm pretty sure you can check the VOD when we talked about cards we were excited for from set 3. I feel like I talked about Seizing and how I was like, this card is meta defining. I am not wrong.
Agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Like it's the best card in the set. Like it's not Twisting Asher Inferno. They thought
in
they
the
thought
set.
So.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's still in the set.
It's in the set. It's not in a pack, but it's in a different type of pack. It
still
can't touch other cards. It's too hot.
It is the card that everybody wants 4 of, because if you're, I think if you're not playing that, your game plan is just destruction. Like you're just going to destroy everyone's foundation.
Yeah, well, you have to if you're not playing Seizing the Advantage, you have to ask yourself, can my deck facilitate on all blank foundations? Do I care? Do I? And if you can, that's totally fine. And I mean, obviously, all blank foundations is like a worst case scenario. You're like, oh my god, my opponent played 3 apathetics on turn 1, and they had a Seizing the Advantage and a hardened jab. They did it to me twice, and or some awful scenario like that. But like it is definitely like, if I am not playing Chaos, which gets access to Struggling with Studies and Chivalrous Competitor, or I'm not playing Earth or All or something like that with Chivalrous Competitor or something like that, or one of the other struggling symbols. It's like, what am I really doing to protect my stage from being just flipped by Seizing and Apathetic and these other Earth cards?
It's just a simple thing of like, your deck, you have to be prepared for the card, right?
Yes.
You have to anticipate every deck that has those symbols is running at least 3 of it. They might run 2, but most of the time it's going to be 3, maybe even 4, depending on if they're like a 6 or 7 hander. So if your deck doesn't have a plan to deal with that card, whether it's negating it, whether it's just redirecting it, whether it's just saying, fuck it, I don't care about my stage anymore, I'm going to blow everything up, and you're running a character who just blows up foundations to do things, you have to adjust your game plan, because it is that's what we mean by meta defining, right? Like, if you don't have a plan for this card is going to pack it in for you, and you're just going to take L's all day. And I'm not saying that like to try to over exaggerate it or try to discourage people, but it is legitimately, it's a reprint almost of an old card, and that old card was that meta defining as well. It's just a very strong ability, and it's on a more playable version than the old version was.
I was gonna say it was a card in Standard at some point, right? Essentially, it was called Spiders and Dragons, but it was a foundation.
It's a 3/5 foundation with totally different symbols on it.
Okay.
Yeah, plus the low block on it. So it had like a very unplayable low block for Standard, but it was a foundation that had that exact same card pool response, that after you play an attack, you could flip it down and you could target snipe something. It also had an ability that lets you either gain 2 or burn them for 2 or something.
I think it did both. I don't remember.
Yeah, if you're attacked up, it's like no one ever built it unless they absolutely had no other option. You just played it to snipe things, which is why this version's an action, clearly, because that's what the original was meant to do. Oh, it also gives your attack +2 speed, because why wouldn't it, right? Like,
because on top of the cancel, you said John, one of you guys said cancel it. Sure, cancel it, because I'll just play another attack and then bring it down. That's cool. Thanks. You have to actually discard it. So like, your best bet is to concentrate it, and then I guess forcing Surrender It on fire out of your card.
You can evil and good it also.
Yeah, you can.
Good.
Off
of those symbols, which is just another argument for Chaos, right? But it only hits, like you said, the one time, and you're stuck with this card or RFGs. So you have to your point, have forcing surrender or something like that, which those don't share symbols. So
you guys are missing the most obvious solution. And that is to run Present Mike 2.
Oh my gosh.
Just to cancel the action.
just to pop your once per game, obviously. No.
Right.
But so obviously at Nationals, there's a lot of different stuff going on. There is a Standard event. Matt, are you playing in the Standard event?
Like, all right, if someone handed me a deck and I don't have anything else going on the day, I would probably play in it. But I don't have any Standard cards anymore, so no.
Chris, are you playing in the Standard event?
Yeah, Tim Keefe is building me my boy, Kotal Khan. We are going to rain blood down from the sky. I don't care if I win a game. I'm just going to play my boy one last time. One last ride. It's like me, Paul Walker, and Vin Diesel. One last ride, baby.
Too soon, man. Too soon.
It's been like 7 years.
That's too soon, man.
Oh my gosh. Get over it. I'm looking forward to it. One cool thing about it is that they're kind of not like chintzying, I guess, the price support. You get one set of action and one set of cards.
Yeah, you get a full play set every time. They pass them
every
out.
time. You could still win. You basically are winning the very last character, unless they go that we know of.
The create a character.
Create a character.
The greatest prize in gaming.
Yeah, and the best prize in gaming, and then you get a bunch of Mortal Kombat packs. Where are they pulling? Someone must have donated a lot of these prizes because they're not allowed to sell them because I'm assuming the Mortal Kombat licenses ran out because another card game has Mortal Kombat in it now. So,
maybe so.
So, but I don't know, whatever. I don't know all the logistics on that, but it's still really cool. I'm just looking to have a good time and then lose every round, not make tops, and go see Wakanda Forever with my buddy Matt.
Nice. I will say, giving out a set of all the promos is a novel concept.
Yeah. And how about that, Jasco? How about that shipping?
I mean, even before we talk about shipping, can we just talk about the fact that I want not 2 copies of my promos? I would like to have a full playset of my promos at Nats.
I totally agree with that.
This has become either it's either the UA it's either like
get a playset, guys. Come on, you're killing me. Give me a Switch when I top. Don't give me 2 more copies of my promos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This turned into the UA pod after dark. Hello, welcome to the UA pod after dark.
The real prize for Nats
talking
is
about
top
promos.
8. That's the real.
Yes,
that's the real prize. You get automatic invite to the invitational where you get guaranteed money.
Okay, so with that being said, has it officially been clarified how that's going to impact with the points listing? So
this is what I've heard. So if someone in the top 5 of points,
so Broberg
gets so say it's just say happenstance Broberg makes top 8.
They just kind of Congo him down the line.
Drops down. And then someone in 2 through 6 would make it. It drops down, and then it just keeps dropping down until
5 people
until you've built your list of 32 people.
Yeah, exactly. So
the
issue is that we're running out on time to get the HLC announced. So when is it going to be?
I mean,
would it be a week before Christmas? Is it going to be in 2023, which I think is the best plan because you got people flying over from, Oceania, you got people flying over from Europe. Give them some time to actually get some plans set because people have lives. So, but anyway, that's here nor there. It's probably for after Nats. That's the after Nats special where we talk about what needs to be banned because we all got our butts kicked by something. So yeah, seizing the advantage. So
but I mean, and maybe they'll have something more to say about the HLC at Nats, or maybe if not this one, then the next week with the online nationals. Maybe they're in the process of getting
something like the Jasco vote-in guy. Whoever gets that, I'm assuming that's probably after.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, we might make it in after all, boys.
So,
I'm just kidding.
Jasco, I assume Jasco vote-in is after online Nats. And same thing with HLC announcement, so.
Guys,
nice.
Clearly the strat to getting in on the Jasco vote is you have to top with or win the event with Midoriya or Bakugo, right? If you do that, it's automatic.
Sure. I guess so.
Yeah, that'll happen. Done deal.
Sure. Easy peasy.
I mean, Wind Up Punch didn't make him, and One with Nature makes him really good.
Those are good cards.
As we talked about, if you didn't need your stage, if there weren't cards that said your stage is blank, 1,000% on that game plan. That deck is super fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep.
I'm not going to play it just yet, but
it's Matt's like there's still time. There's still time to change my mind at the last minute to a deck that I wasn't really prepared to play.
The worst
sideboard
for a UVS player, the most vulnerable time you have in your entire card gaming career is the 6 hours between you wake up or you don't go to bed and the tournament. And people have changed decks. I've done it the morning of, and you just register something you didn't test at all, and you almost top, or you do top, or you win the damn event. Yeah. Oh, easy.
I've done all of those things with that.
Or you also do poorly because it's a deck that you weren't prepared to play.
Very true.
I mean, like
normally you want to have some familiarity with the deck, so you you can you use round 1 as your okay, cool, I'm getting back into it, and then you just move on.
Yes, round 1 is your play testing.
That was you guys are literally describing my last Nats run at Atlanta, where I net decked Mark's guild deck that he created, and I was like, this deck's way too fat. Trimmed it down like 15 cards, and then that's diversity environment, right? I lose round 1 to Sophidia, which probably is objectively one of the hardest matchups for Gil because she just says you don't get your speed. He wants the speed anyway. Didn't know how to play the deck. Could have won it if I had. And then I proceed to not lose again the rest of the day to the point where I'm at table 4, Mark's at table 3 in the final round. I destroy my final round and get the win. He comes down to the final moments and almost loses, and I would have diversified him. So to your point, John,
you could have had a Matt Childress Nat champion card.
I know. Oh well, I know because he won that event. Yeah, I know. Thanks.
I just want our listeners to know that before we started recording, I was like, "Hey, do you guys want to have any time to talk about Standard at all?" And both of these two people were like, "No, it's fine. We're not going to talk about Standard at all." We spent the last 5 minutes talking about Standard.
Hey, I was trying to backtrack it back to Earth is the best symbol in the game talk, but we just go on this weird tangent. So
yeah,
I think though, like going into Nats where you're looking at, you have to have the Earth deck, right? Like
you're
Earth dot best card or whatever. So that's the deck that if your deck can't 50-50 or 40-60 or have a decent matchup against that, do you even bring it? Right. You know, like is it because like look, take K2 for example. Like his most vulnerable time is turn 2. Like
before
I've
he
seen
can
more
get really
K2s lose on turn 2 than not, I guess. So I think that's his most. I think that if you're running like an Asui, what do they call it? The rain gun deck, the water gun deck that Andrew was talking about.
The super soaker.
Super soaker, which is a way better word, which is a way better title for the deck anyways. Ooh, super soaker sounds really cool.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That one was 90s for free, right? That was for free. But anywho, like that can turn to him with the right draw. Ojiro 2 can turn to him with the right draw. Tokiyami can turn to him with the right draw. It's just
mine can, but others can't.
Yeah, very true. But no, like that's his weak point, right? Is that turn 2? He's built 4. He's built 5. He only has 2 cards, 1 card, and his face. So if you think you can get over that, like the Asui deck draws 1 million cards, and if you have a Dry Eyes and and Freezer Burn, you just murder him or whatever.
Yeah, or it's and. But I will say, I think Chris, part of what you're talking about is not necessarily not doing all 27 or whatever on turn 2. It's just putting enough pressure on them. Yeah, you get him down so that like he has to, like you're playing one attack on like turn 3 and like you have to respond. You either have to block this or you have to use K2 to respond and half it, or I'm just gonna wipe the floor with you. Yeah, you have to put that kind of pressure on him. It's kind of like what you had to do to Momo in the set 2. You had to put that early pressure on her.
Yeah, if you maim him good enough on turn 2, or you hit him hard enough, you put that opponent on the back foot. Then it's just like.
Well, I guess this is kind of a leads into a bigger part of the discussion for today, which is, well, what do you guys, if not Earth and if not K2, what do you guys think you're going to see the most? Like, what are you expecting to run into? And also, what have you been thinking about playing? You don't have to necessarily give us like the actual deck you're going to play, or maybe like your entire list or something like that. But what are you guys thinking about playing? I am not going to Nationals, but both Matt and Chris are. So let's hear their thoughts.
Go ahead, Matt.
So I don't know what deck I'm going to play. Right now I have like 6 decks built, like physically built. I have more digitally built, right? And what I've been doing over the past couple of weeks is slowly removing cards or decks from the list of potentials, right? Because I was super excited for a whole bunch of stuff. I've played it. I think a lot of it feels really good, but it might have a weakness. And it's the question of, to your point, what's the beta going to be? How vulnerable is that weakness, right? It may not be a significant weakness. It may be a very significant weakness, right? Like, what I do know is, like, for example, one of the decks I've been playing is Eraserhead 1 off of Void with the discard package. That deck feels super solid defensively, yet to find anything that just like murders and plows straight through me. You have to play like really tight defense the whole time though, which has kind of always been Eraserhead's thing. But now he has these like actual ways to deal like that 7-8+ damage range without having to pull off some crazy combo. Like he can just play out his hand and play these attacks, and they just kind of get you there. Dry Eyes goes a long way. Some of the other cards, Brandish Steel does a 7 printed, right? Like there are cards that do enough damage that he can probably get over some things, but then there's some things that he looks at and he's like, well, what do I do here? And if that's the case, like, you hope you don't see too many of those the other day, right? Because you're going to be able to drop what, a game or two, a round or two, I should say.
I think you would be. I think
to make top 16 at that point.
Yeah, top 30. We're at top 32 right now, by the way.
Okay.
So we are going to
day
top
2
32.
Is top 32.
Day 32 will be top 32 as of now. Yeah, we hit that. So I think you can go X2.
Well, I mean, I feel like there were those last couple of provisionals and like even some of the regionals, there were some kind of like iffy final records that like made that. I don't say iffy, but like you look at that and you don't want to be on the bubble, but looking at like those people's like records, you're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought that would have made it in, but
And I actually think I kind of want to, before we go any further, I kind of want to say, I think you may see more people playing it out.
For sure.
Because obviously we all know going first is a giant advantage, but going first in tops, where all you have to do is win 2 games, and you are guaranteed money.
Yep.
Well, if it's top 32, you got to win 2 rounds, right?
Yeah, 2. Yeah, 32.
Oh, sorry, 2 games. Sorry, I was thinking of.
It means 2 rounds. Yeah.
2 rounds. Yeah, you have to win 2 rounds to get into top 8, and then it's like, who cares? It's like once you get top 8, it doesn't matter anymore because you have the prize that you want.
Son, I'm going for that contender playmat. Have you seen that thing? Endeavor just like.
I mean, you're not going to get the playmat anyways. They don't exist. So
they're going to be MIA.
I can hear Kevin and JJ and all of them screaming from season 2 and 3 where our mat's at.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
But I don't know. It's gonna be really weird because I think you're either playing a seizing deck or you're playing a deck that techs well against a seizing deck, which is kind of weird because it kind of has its own answers on its own simples.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, the answers aren't really good answers, right? Like even the negation, like we're just pointing out, like the negation negates the first time, but it doesn't get the card out of the card pool. So it just sits there and waits for another one, and you're like, well, that feels bad. I made them play with, I guess, like +1 progressive.
I think you're like on chivalrous and struggling with studies is basically what your only answer.
So you're on chaos, right?
You're on chaos, you could run fire where you concentrate it and then you force and surrender it, which that seems like a waste for 1 foundation. I'd rather have a face down foundation.
Let me destroy a foundation and pitch a card.
Yep.
And then flip another one just to get rid of yours to make me not flip something else.
I didn't say it was a good answer.
It is, yeah. It's not. It is an answer. It is not.
A line you take.
I honestly think you just take the flip.
Yeah.
I 100%. Unless you have built a deck that is completely reliant upon one specific foundation, which spoilers don't do that.
Well, to be fair, like anyone's foundation, you better have like your foundational deadlock pieces to fight deadlock. They basically might as well have no text on them.
I think that's maybe the biggest problem with facing up against K2, because K2 is totally fine building 15, 20 foundations, right? Just building out.
Now he has answers to that.
Like legit, like that's just Earth, because Earth target flips your deadlock answers on the board. Like it has to be on an attack. And even further, you're gonna have to build into deadlock
to fight them
at some point to fight them, right?
Like and then you get Grandstyle tailed to death. So
right. So my suggestion, you want that Matt Childress hot take? It's not a good one, but it's a hot take. Is that if that's the case, and that's what the math is, Fierce Whirlwind. Fierce Whirlwind is an attack, lets you destroy X foundations and ready X foundations that have not been ready this combat phase. So you build out to like 12. You destroy 6 and you ready the other 6. It's got charge, EX, and range. So it's got air. You can put it in a charge package. Like you can run this card as a super meta tech piece if you're trying to avoid giving them their deadlock stuff. You can't do shit about them flipping all your stuff down, but you can destroy those cards to extend your turn further to try to get a little bit of something out of it. That's all I got for you guys. I mean, I don't think it's a good answer. I don't think it's a hot take, but it's just there's something that can keep you out of it when all of your things flip face down. And we are slightly exaggerating in that way. They're not going to flip everything face down.
No.
Yeah, not always.
And every symbol did gain a destroy a foundation cost type card. So every symbol has a way out. But if they flip that card face down, what are your other options? And to Chris's point, what are your deadlock options on attacks? Because they are definitely going to flip your deadlock options on foundations. Like your pulls and punches ain't doing nothing.
It's usually the first option I flip when I'm playing a seizing deck is I'm gonna get rid of your deadlock options so I can build into 15, 20 foundations. You can't do anything about it. You know.
Right.
But well, also those are usually just good foundations in general, right? Like pulls and punches, good foundation. First villain encounter, good foundation. Some of the stuff like that, yeah.
All right, so I think that the other piece of tech here is your character could also be your deadlock answer, right? So characters like All Might 3 who benefit, like if you force them to either build into deadlock and give you your deadlock effects, or they have to hold on to cards and then your character gets stronger, right? Hagakure 2 kind of does the same thing, right? Like if they build that giant earth wall and they have 16 foundations, she's like, cool, your block mods get +5.
Yeah, that's silly.
It's unblockable. Good luck. So I think there are things in the game. The problem is that on her symbols, she's largely playing a very honest game of I'm a 6-hander and I don't have any way to go plus on cards. But that being said, that's an option as well. Like I think that's how you're going to see people try to deal with this earth. I build however many I want. Your problem cards I answer kind of deck list.
I think like it's kind of sad though, because like you brought up Hagakure, and like the way she can plus is on good, which is, you know, she can use passing the torch, remove it with her attack, bring it back in. Issue is good has jack for defense, and it's just like your one defensive piece is going to get flipped for your best defensive piece, and then you're basically playing an honest offense with an honest defense, and that's not, you don't win a tournament that way. Right. I mean, granted, I got kind of lucky with All Might 3, I think, at the time that I won the provisional, because there was still like a set 2 early meta, so stuff hadn't settled yet. But like I think good has a problem with that. I think there's a bunch of symbols that are like, well, I think my offense is okay, but my defense, if it flips, I'm 2 shits to the wind, right? So
yeah,
I think that's a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, she does have water, I guess, if you want to go that way, because you can doing really cool stuff with her ultra attack. You can be like sticky balls, flip it, comes back, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, but on good specifically,
good specifically.
On good specifically, it does, like, at that point, it's like, am I going to run the Gran Torino foundation that flips for -3 speed? Because it does something? I mean, maybe, if you're playing Toru too.
You could remove it and bring it back in.
Yeah. It also gives minus damage. I mean, also that lets you. I mean, look. I didn't say again. Not a great answer, but it is an answer.
It's an answer. Yes.
Look, I'm using that card to blink out good cards, not these bad ones.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
I think that's the issue right now, right? With the format as a whole, like you kind of know like some holdovers from the set 2 meta, you know. Okay, we haven't even brought up Momo at all. Like, she didn't get any worse.
No.
You know?
The gap between her and everything else, I feel like just closed.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly what happened. But she's still good. And so Momo K2,
Achako 2,
Achako
Villainous Waylay. I mean, she got Villainous Waylay and Hulking Grimace, man.
She's still a beating. I think she has more tools now to progress in top cuts than just making top cuts and getting bounced.
Look,
because David is gonna let us know real quick.
Yeah.
So.
Because nothing to see here is that card is dumb.
Look, all I know is if you are not ready for the all mids the Chaco 2 deck, she is gonna grab you by the dick and punch your whole body off.
She is.
That's
She's gonna float your whole body right off.
Yeah. Just be prepared to eat 20.
Yeah, because your opponents, they're gonna say, "I play Villainous Waylay. I name mid. Oops, you don't have any." Spoilers.
Yeah,
that's not good.
Yep.
That's not good.
That's not good.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
Yeah, it's just. So
I mean, like, good matchup
I think
for each one, but yeah.
Like, I think there's a couple characters that if you aren't too sure of how the meta is going to shake out, that you could probably take to Nats and still do really well, just because of the package they present on their face. Like Endeavor 2, he has a speed and damage buff. He has a one-time minus damage, a one-time minus speed. You know, like that. He's a 31 health 6-hander. He has decent symbol. His symbol spread's really good. I think he's the only way you can play evil right now if you want to play an evil package. because he gives evil something that's severely lacking, which is what is speed hate, and like his Earth deck is.
Man, I'm looking at nothing to see right now, and it's got -3 speed just printed right on that card.
Yeah, like you have Earth. He has Earth, which he could just side into Kirishima. There are Kirishimas who are siding into him for certain matchups. His Fire's Furies are still good.
Yeah.
His Fire Fury is his stun grenades are not fun to deal with. I think that character says no to a lot of the momentum shenanigan type decks, like your jolts do nothing. I'll take one to have that jolt do nothing.
You have to be playing something that adds damage to your jolt in your deck, or just don't play it. Or I'll just I'll lose to deal with your jolt. It's fine.
The really cool thing that he does is for evil is the same thing Toga does, right? Like they have a self-cut printed on them. So they immediately put all those new evil cards online that say, like, if you've lost health this turn, get +1 damage or +1 speed, or
they also
whatever,
have
right?
Endeavor as well also has a good amount of life gain on his stuff as well.
Full on attack mode, my friend, is a very real card.
I mean, you use that, and you're excited for Bloods. Just get online. He could also play Piercing. If you want to go some weird shenanigans, Piercing Needle, Compression Sphere. Why Compression Sphere is less than $2? I will not know. It's insane. That card's so good. It on block activates Excited for Blood offensively. I mean defensively on block. And it gets rid of a momentum, which I think this format's also a lot of it's going to. Before we dive into another character, momentum control is going to be key because there's a lot of there's more powerful momentum effects now in the game, which is every set, I guess. But what do you think? Another character outside of the big trio quattro we've talked about. What do you guys think? I know Endeavor 2. I don't know what else is anyone else thinking about.
I mean, I've always been a big fan of Kamui Woods. I think Kamui got a pretty big bump, especially the Earth Kamui builds. Water Kamui, obviously Keenan was doing really well with Water Kamui in set 2. But the Earth Kamui, obviously any Earth character just got exponentially better with set 3. So any Earth character you might want to, if you're thinking, man, this character kind of sucks, but they had Earth on him, go back and look at him now. Probably got a lot better. But Kamui, he didn't really have like this, like with every Earth character, they didn't have the speed, right? Well, guess what? Kamui can play One with Nature, and he's a 7-hander. So that's pretty good.
He also has Petty Squabbles.
And he also has Petty Squabble, and he sure does not care about committing his character as a cost. So that's I think people are gonna, at least if he's not going to take down something like that, I think people are going to be more willing to try to get Kamui out there. I think we might see just larger numbers of people playing him, kind of a thing. Sure. What about you, Chris? Going into Nationals, what kind of decks have you been floating around? Like, have you got anything locked down? Are you still looking at a couple?
I have my deck. I'm just.
So you don't have to give us the. You don't have to give us the sauce.
Oh, I'm between two cards right now, which I think I'm going to make the swap because I've talked to you guys enough about it. I've run
for $10. I will tell you what this is.
Subscribe to our Patreon. Earth decks, fire decks. I've run a Chaco Death decks that just discards your entire hand. But like what Matt said, nothing feels. There's certain things that feel really strong, but nothing feels like Railgun Asui broken.
Right.
Like
degenerate.
degenerate.
Like the format warping kind of.
It's what you kind of want to take to an event like this, or a Worlds, or a Hero League Championship, where you want to take the best deck in the format to win. It gives you the best. On paper, it gives you the best chance to win. Granted, RNG drawing, RNG your opponents. Like, you may dodge every top 10 player in the game on your way to winning.
Maybe you just didn't shuffle well, and all your like Dark Shadow Ruins got clumped together or something, right? And you just didn't see them.
And you check attacks to play. You check attacks to play attacks.
I'm not gonna say that sometimes you run the mirror matchup with the Railgun Asui, and you run into the guy who wins the tournament with that same deck, and then the other guy is Dan Nelson. But sometimes you do that and you lose the dice roll, and you lose every game you don't go first. All right, sometimes that happens. Doesn't matter if you're undefeated going into those games. No matter.
That's just the way that deck was. If you lost the die roll, you were probably losing.
Yeah, that's exactly how it worked. I think it broke serves one time.
Yeah. Matt, I'm just really excited to see what people came up with in the set 3 format, just because it wasn't like a traditional set. I think I've said this before on the podcast where I love this design of a set where it raised the floor for a lot of decks that needed it, and it brought the upper echelon decks like that gap, like Matt said about Momo, where that gap got closer. Necessarily, it didn't get even, but it got closer, which is, I think, what you want in a format. It's a more healthier format. Yeah, we can all kick and scream like children about seizing, back alley haymaker, jab, ban the earth symbol. Just the way it goes.
Just put it in the garbage. Just throw it in the garbage.
Okay, so I think we have a thing now. Set 2 meta was ban the life symbol. Set 3 meta will be ban the earth symbol. The real test is, we got League of Villains coming up. Next set, we're gonna have to ban the evil symbol. Watch. We'll have to ban the evil symbol.
Nah, see, you think it's going to be that. It's going to be an ironic twist where the good symbol is going to be too good. And that's going to be, it's the long play from Shigaraki, right? He's like, man, it's going to be the League of Villains set, but we're going to make the good symbol so good they got to ban it because we're evil.
Because we're evil.
Oh, yeah, we also, we still have a format change in between this and the HLC because we have DLC 3 coming out. DLC 3 coming out in between this span.
That's true.
So that's going to be kind of different too. Like, we're going to have a totally different meta going into the Hero League Championship. So, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I think, I guess the beat around the bush, I think an Earth deck's going to win Nats. I can't tell you what character because every character on Earth's still very viable, and they're probably going to be siding in multiple characters. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Clown Car Earth deck where it runs K2, Ojiro 2, Endeavor 2, and Kamui. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't. The deck will, like, all you need to do is bring in. You just have to figure out how you're going to fit your Student of the Arts and Petty Squabbles in the deck, and then it's an easy flip-flop. It really is.
So if I gave you the option of, if it's definitely going to be an Earth deck, but it's Kirishima 2 versus the field of every other Earth character, who are you taking? Chris?
I'm taking Kirishima.
Matt?
He's the best Earth character right now, yeah.
I think he's the best character in the game.
So here's the thing. So set 2, meta. Earth, after K1 got nerfed, Earth was unplayable, right? Kirishima 2 DLC drops, immediately wins an event. The deck stays relevant, but no other Earth deck is relevant the rest of that format. And now Earth as a symbol is arguably the best symbol. In that way, it got a bunch of really good cards in the set and some key things. And he was already the character that made the symbol good enough to be competitive. So there's no way he's not the best character to play that symbol.
Yeah.
That's my logic.
No, I definitely get that. Like, I just talked about Common Woods on Earth. Like, if you're playing an Earth deck and you're not playing Kirishima 2, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it just personal preference? Is it just I really like what X character does? But if you're thinking like I am trying to like play the best competitive deck, like I really struggle to think of something that's like why I would play X character over Kirishima 2, right?
So it would be because you think your Earth character can beat Kirishima 2 on Earth. Does that make sense? So like it's your Ojiros. It's someone else who can just truck major damage better than he can on turn 2 and turn 3 to get over him. And that's the only reason you choose to play that Earth character versus him over him. Because odds are the symbol's strong enough to keep your matchup about the same against other things. Maybe you have your Kryptonite matchup, but no one's going to be running that because no one's ever looked at playing, I don't know,
Backdraft on Order.
No, Asui 2, man, come on. Or Backdraft on Order. Yeah, so some random deck.
Something random, yeah.
But, outside of that, you're good to go, right? And you're like, well, I'm going to predict that the field's mostly going to be Kirishima's, or at the very least a large chunk of it will be. So I'm going to play 1 or 2 throughout the 8 or 9 rounds, and I'm going to win those rounds,
That's kind of like what I thought about like Endeavor, because he can put speed on stuff, and what's Earth really bad at?
Putting speed on stuff.
They're bad at putting speed on stuff. They're also bad at taking speed away. So, like, if they go against...
They block very honest.
They play a very honest blocking... They play a very blocking game's very honest or whatever.
Yeah, no defense.
Sure. Some of their defensive tricks can be kind of broken. Kamui, but it's on characters though, like Kamui, K2.
Yeah, as far as speed reduction on Earth cards, you've got shock absorption.
Yeah, like one.
Like high value target is not like a speed reduction, but it taps for 2, so that's like kind of. I will say one other thought I've had, like when I was thinking about maybe going to nationals or like just what kind of decks I would play after playing in some stuff recently. If your deck does not have a way to answer stun, you're gonna have a bad time. I feel like that's really and again, hey, guess what symbol?
John, just lean into it.
Do what?
So don't listen to John. Just lean into the stun. It's fine.
Lean into the stun, baby.
But you know, like on our topic of the Earth symbol being the best, you know what symbol has really the best stun answers in the game?
Earth.
It's Earth. Yeah. You know what symbol also has
true, to be fair.
That has always been true. But you know what? You know what card? You know what symbol also has some of the best stun cards in the game? It's also the Earth symbol.
It's also Earth now.
They just printed a new. Well, actually, no. Sorry. Wind Up Punch does not have Earth. It's his other one that has stun too. But still,
it's Brutish Swagger.
Brutish Swagger. That's what I was thinking. Brutish Swagger.
Yeah.
Haymaker.
No one on the corner got swagger like us. You know what I'm saying?
It's a back alley baby maker.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But yeah, that's like I played in, like I said, in the webcam, and literally every deck I played against was running some kind of stun pack. Had some kind of stun too, and I was like, man, I'm glad I played an Earth deck.
Yeah, like they're reluctant to pull the trigger if they see you have a can't be fixed. You know, a lot of people are just reluctant to pull and just rip the Band-Aid off right away.
Yeah, and
I think that's what it is. You just rip the Band-Aid off, get it over with right away.
Yeah,
you don't want it happening in the middle of a turn. You know, later in the game, I should say.
My round 3 opponent, Matthew. Obviously not Matt Childress. Another Matthew. He was playing Air. He was playing Dinky 1 Air. I was playing obviously Kamui, and I built like 2. It can't be fixed early on. Afterwards, we were kind of talking about different things, and he's like, he kind of said that. He's like, I was kind of nervous about just like stunning and just making you pop those, and that's kind of what I told him, Chris. Is like, honestly, when if I'm playing like a stun card and I see some anti-stun card, I don't give a shit. Just go into it. You got to pop it. Because you force your opponent to make a decision. Like, do I really want to use this card, flip it, build a blank foundation, and get that much closer to deadlock? Right? Like, so you kind of put your opponent in that position where they've got to kind of decide. Because are they already at 10 foundations? Well, if you want to build into deadlock, I ain't going to stop you.
Yeah. Especially if you have pull no punches or prehensile tail out.
Yeah.
So, you know.
But yeah, so that is my last thought about nationals is if your cadet can't answer stun, you're probably gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. I think you have to prepare yourself for 9 rounds because we're gonna have 9 rounds. It's gonna be grueling. It's going to be one of the hardest tournaments you've ever played in. If this is your first event, I'm sorry.
And that's why I don't want to play a deck that's going to go to time every round.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, some of the Earth decks aren't as grindy as that. So you know there are decks that are fast. So just be ready. Stay hydrated. I guess I don't know if we're doing final tips, but
yeah, let's go for it. We've been rambling on for a while.
You know, eat some food regularly. Make sure you have water on you. That's number one thing. Have some like Excedrin, Tylenol, whatever. If you're one of the energy drink people, have an energy drink. You know, whatever. Just you want to make sure your blood sugar and you just stay hydrated is up at the right levels because, man, I have a feeling this tournament's going to take us like 15 hours. It's going to start at 10. We're probably not going to get done.
And it's
midnight.
in a hotel.
Yeah.
So there isn't there might be hotel food or snacks, but
there's
not going to be like a restaurant.
Like 500 people, like it's going to be fucking awful trying to get something.
It's already over 300 and something, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be awful trying to get like something from like the hotel kitchen or something or the bar. It's going to be impossible.
Yeah, because there's no way we can. I'm already envisioning that we're not going to get a lunch break. Because it's Carta Magica running it, and they're notorious for not giving lunch breaks.
Well, also, I mean, even just to your point, to like having the tournament done like in some reasonable amount of time. If you're going to have 9 rounds, you've got to figure it's going to be 70 to 80 minutes each round, because you're going to have overtime. You're going to have you're going to have people calling judges for disagreements on stuff, especially towards those later rounds when it's crucial, when you're like, fuck, I may make top cuts. I'm getting a judge over here. We're getting some overtime or something.
Just on rounds and overtime, you're looking at 10.5 hours already. And that's not even counting overtime, where people are still magically playing after overtime.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're gonna have to wait on judges to come by. Like,
but I say the number of judges required to actually enforce the game is done state. Is nigh impossible.
But yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris. Like, when we went to Orlando, like I had like my bag of like my cards and everything, and I just had a bag of just food. It was like granola bars.
You were the awesomest dad ever.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome dad. You brought the snacks for the kids.
Yeah, I did. Let's just have a bunch of food and granola bars and Pop-Tarts and shit, man. That shit's
no
cheap.
juice boxes though. So
yeah, I did not bring Capri Suns. Well, I didn't want to be liable for someone like stabbing an eye out.
Yeah, just try to have as much fun as possible. Like, it's going to be. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you get someone who's going to be nice to you in a game, that's going to be rare. That's going to probably be rare because I'm going to say right now, like, I'm not going to let anybody take anything back. Like, you mess up, dude. Yeah. We're playing for money now. Like, this is where the rubber meets the road. Like,
this ain't a webcam weekly.
To be fair, it's life. I don't know if you consider world's money life-changing money, no matter what.
I mean, if you're talking about 100,
what the pay structure is going to be, then maybe.
I mean,
I don't think you can default say that. Like 30-second might get $1,000. Like, I don't think that's the case.
But if you're talking about like first plays, if you're talking about like 100K, like. Yeah, like I'm sorry, like you're not taking that back. Like we're past that point.
I would be surprised if people let people take stuff back.
And you shouldn't. Like 100%. This is a super competitive. This is like the second highest level of competition in this game. Like you should not expect people to let you take back your play mistakes. And that just goes to like being hydrated, making sure you get sleep, make sure you sleep well the night before. As I continue off my dad checklist.
Screw up all the things these are doing. Show up, have a blast, do all the take backsies, and just
make sure you hit your dispensary before nationals ahead of time, so you can get it rolling before,
Play a fun deck. Don't play Earth. Don't be a loser. All right? And just crush fools all day with your order backdraft deck.
So I guess, so Matt, is that your final thought?
Clearly, that's what I'm playing now. We got Ultra open on the other monitor. We listed it up.
I mean, we also have DLC 3 to talk about, which is, I think we're going to save that for another episode. I think, really.
Yeah, we'll get there at some point, right? We may work that into. We'll have a supplemental draft round for the fantasy league. We'll maybe work those in there because we'll find a way to add them on so people can add or drop them as they want. But seriously though, Matt, do you have any final thoughts going into nationals or anything like that?
I mean, I stand by it. Like, come and have fun, right? Like I agree with you that it is a high level competitive tournament, and you should definitely like know the rules and understand how things work. But I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as like Chris is to say that like. Normally, in my experience, there's very seldomly an error that someone makes, like an honest error, that changes the outcome of the game. There are sometimes, So I get it. Like, I've had to call combo requirements on people before, like in RLEs and things like that. Or I've had to call, like, hey, you didn't respond with this. You already played another card kind of thing. On webcam things, I've had to call people on illegal block zones. Like. I'm not saying don't call people on stuff and expect correct play, but at the same time, like if it's like hey, your effect should have given my attack -1 damage. It was a floating effect that triggers. Absolutely. Like, it's -1 damage.
That stuff always goes because it's a floating effect.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? But like people forget about those sort of things, and like, and if someone tries to like call a judge and rules lawyer them only to be wrong, then you've set the tone for the game for the rest of the time, right? And like, so again, just be knowledgeable, come and have fun. And definitely say, hey, if you're there, we'll be around, we'll be playing. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited.
Get your booty kicked in standard.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm not going to play.
I mean, you could
get my booty kicked in MHA.
Yeah, you can play your MHA deck.
I was just about to say,
stomped into the ground.
You can just play your.
Do not do that.
I know Jasko's going to be gunslinging. I've heard that some employees may have their staff cards finally.
Oh,
so they're going to be playing with their new characters.
So okay, so real quick, you guys explain what staff cards are.
Okay, so staff cards are like exactly what they say. They're staff cards. Yeah. Jasko creates themselves. They have abilities. They have a hand size. They usually have broken.
It's a character card for a staff member that they created and designed.
Staff member. Yeah,
and they're broken. They're never designed with balance of mind.
They're never. But they're really cool, and usually you get like a special prize for playing and beating or just playing them. Usually, if you beat them, they'll give you a copy of your of the card. Usually, is what happens. There's a fun mini game with Shane. Shane's has 3 different versions. There's a red, white, and blue version, and the backgrounds are red, white, and blue. So there's 3 different versions of Shane's card. Yeah. But yeah, so it's gonna be really cool, and all the new employees are supposed. I guess I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this now, but this ain't coming out till Wednesday, so everyone will be at Nats, so it doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of the employees finally got their staff cards printed, like the Tim Friedliebs of the world, the people who've been there forever and haven't had a card. So we finally get to see what Tim's monstrosity is going to be, and we're all going to lose to it, and be so excited.
So. I obviously I quit playing the game for a long time, but one thing I always held on to, other than my precious baby, my promo Adon with 8 hand size, was at the first Worlds I went to. There was a guy named Eric Yapel, who turns out was one of the original designers for the game, and I had no idea about staff cards. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to play a game?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, okay." And he sat down and played his character. And I was like, "What the fuck is this card? You're 730." Well, I was reading his bit. I was like, what is this card?" And then I realized, oh, this is you. And he's like, yeah. Then he explained it to me, and it was like that thing. He's like, I had 1 copy with me, and I beat him, and so I took it. And he's like, I'm gonna let you have it, but the deal is, we're gonna tell everyone that you have it, and anybody that wants to can come and challenge you for the card. And if they beat you, you have to give it to them. I held on to this fucker all day. And it's like, man, so I have even though I quit the game, I was like, I am never getting rid of this card.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
Yes.
That's cool.
So it has in big text. This card is not tournament legal. He was a 730. Form commit, draw 2 cards. Response: discard 1 card. After your opponent plays an enhance, negate it. Enhance, discard 1 card. Your attack is +3 damage. So they just have I'm sure the new ones are gonna be way more in depth, way better than that. But at the time, this was fucking nuts. It still is nuts. This card would dominate.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. Yeah. I know like a couple of them. Like one was, I think AJ's was when you play a card, draw a card. I think that's what AJ's staff card did. And then I think Jason's was you just get X momentum whenever you want or whatever. I don't remember. I know the typical rule was, if you're really good at the game, your staff card isn't that broken. But if you're bad at the game, your staff card's busted as fuck.
So what you're saying is, so Chris is laying down the early. He's setting the smack talk up.
Shade.
So if you get there and you're like, Aspira, your card's really, really good. Chris says you're bad at this game.
Hey, he was undefeated until he fought me, and then I beat him. So that happened at Nats. I mean, it happened at Pasadena, and I was like, I finally beat him. Yeah, I beat the unbeaten player. He was 2-0.
Oh,
nice. He was 2-0. He's no longer 2-0.
Aspera?
Yeah.
I haven't seen his staff card. I haven't played him.
No, he hasn't had a staff card.
Yeah. He was just playing. He's playing his shows.
Yeah. He said he has never lost a game before. He was only 2-0. But
I mean, just know that every time I challenged anyone that was holding stuff, they were like, "Nah, we good." I was like,
they never want to fight you. Nah, man, they never want to fight vets. They never want to fight vets.
They're like, "Nah, I brought out for funsies deck. I wasn't really looking."
But I'm really excited though, because they're going to be gunslinging all weekend. So
that'll be cool.
You just walk up.
I'll take my L's. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I'll take my L's because I know Church is going to be there. I know a lot of the Jazz. Everyone's going to be there.
I was gonna say. I assume pretty much everyone's going to be there, right?
There's no reason for them not to be there. So.
But yeah.
Maybe this is where we work Paul into the pod rotation.
Yeah. We'll schedule something up with him. Hopefully.
Definitely.
Get figured out.
But I think that's gonna do it for us, guys. I'm just trying to think. I'm racking my brain because this is gonna be a big gap because this Nationals coming up. Everyone, safe travels.
So we have Nats, and then we have online Nats.
And there's online Nats.
After.
And then there's like the Oceania and European Nats and all that. Nats.
Yeah, we can't play those as a regional launch, so don't even try.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I wanted to fight my Cardaman.
Then fly there and fight him in real life, Chris.
I mean, he's coming over here in the summer and staying with me. We're going to Origins together. That's
There you go.
He's a nice dude. You don't want to actually fight Mike.
I mean,
No,
card fight.
Vanguard? What are you talking about?
But yeah, you guys, we got to end this pod.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for
Make sure
listening,
to check out
guys.
the site.
Yeah.
You'll take care.
Yeah. Hope to see you at Nats. Come say hi.
Oh yeah, I've got to say it. Do the algorithm things. I said it before, Matt.
All things.
We love you. Have a good night.
Bye.
See you at Nats.
Oh, yeah.